subject as an eye-opener. We were not aware of certain things we wanted to know about, but we didn't know where to find them. And God bless both of them that they have come all the way from leaving all the work, leaving all those children who need their help, but come here specifically to teach you all. Yeah? So with this, let's have a recap of what we did yesterday.
The different developmental milestones, physical, social, communication, mental, and how the different levels at which the children develop, and then the problems that they face and how we are able to identify.
Language. How to teach them. Yeah. Parts, yeah.
What are the forms of language and what is the content and how we can use that, the different ways, and how you can rectify any language problem in the in a special child like that.
Actually, the role of parents regarding this for normal and also for special children, how to handle the special children, even the parents also learn something about that, then only they can understand how to handle those kids. That also we learn.
We spoke about disabilities, learning disabilities, and then we also spoke about pre-diagnostic inventory, that is before children go to first, you have a checklist. So we need to a child is capable of going to the first standard or not. And we spoke about speech. Okay, speech therapy and different words, which has to be used at a particular age. And if there's a problem, when to identify the problem. Those are the things. We spoke about different domains of child development, like physical, cognitive, social, emotional, communication, and
How to teach maths in material in preschools. Gaming activity. Tips, ma'am. Memory game. Memory game done, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Grab attention and grab the increase the patience also. Patience and what is the limitation till which time we can tell this is normal, and after that if it will come then that will be abnormal.
We spoke about component of speech. Components of speech. Articulation, fluency, and voice.
how to differentiate between special needs children and normal children.
Spoken about mental retardation, that delay in motor milestones and delays.
Basic theories of developments, domain development like physical, cognitive, social, whatever it comes under that. Yeah, developmental disabilities. What are the disabilities we find in the children's? Yeah.
First words 1 to 1.5 year in between. Second words after 2 years. And 9 simple this case assessment studies.
How can we
how can we pull attention to the children? Attention methods.
Attention grabbing activities, yeah.
Yes.
You have done that already or कोई और कुछ नहीं आप किया
ADD, SLI, and role of the parents, case study and assessment, and body image.
Piaget theory.
Now you're on the track. बताइए जल्दी जल्दी. हाँ.
Piaget theory.
Sorry, मैं नहीं जानती हूँ. Piaget था कोई theory starter क्या है? What is it?
Piaget theory. According to age, whether they are perfect or not to check. According to his theory.
I'll get back to you. Yes. हाँ. Vimla? Adding?
Self-confidence, self-esteem.
Building up of self-esteem, self-confidence in the child. Okay. That's it. So that was all done.
Or क्या था कुछ special before 2 years of age the child should have at least 50 years.
Before 2 years of age, a child should at least have 50 years of 50 words of before 2 years.
Good morning. It's nice to see a crowd on Sunday morning.
I know, very motivated.
We get back to day 3, that is putting planning into practice. Now basically how do you execute it in your regular thing of a school teacher which is there. Okay, apart from the normal children which you're looking into, the typically developing children, you have 1 or 2 of them who are integrated. How do you work with them? How do you document with them? And how do you see that what you have done is actually progressing? Okay, so it's more scientific that you'll have to get into. The entire thing we'll be doing today is IEP. IEP is nothing but individualized educational planning. Okay, so you're planning individually an educational plan for a particular child which is there. So it can differ from children to children. We'll be getting into counseling and a little bit of role play to understand what basically is happening. What is an IEP? Anybody can just give 1 or 2 things of what is an IEP? What do you all think is an IEP? Skills and abilities which is there. Okay, that's more or less a gist of the thing. It is basically a summary of the student. It's a summary. You're giving a profile or a summary. Summary of what? Of the strength, interest and needs of that particular child. What is the strength that the child has? Okay, when we're looking into special needs, we know that the child has a lot of difficulties. Okay, every child will have a strength. So it is the role of the parent, the teacher and the community to pick out that particular strength. So the summary should include the strength, the interest of the child and the need of what you have to intervene in. The expectations of the student's learning during a particular school year. During that particular year, if it's a nursery, the child's strength would be different, the need would be different and the interest would be different. As the child gets into LKG, UKG, it's completely different. So for each year, it's going to keep changing. That differ from the expectations defined in the appropriate grade level of the prescribed curriculum. Okay, so there's a prescribed curriculum that this is how it has to be. All students have to finish this. So there will be some expectations which is there. Okay, it is going to be defined. So we are going to change it. As she said, there will be changes according to the skills of the child. It is a written plan of action. Okay, that's the most important. It has to be written. It has to be in the written form. Okay, it is a written plan of action prepared for a student who requires modifications either in the regular school program or accommodations in the regular school program. Okay, how are you going to accommodate this particular child? The child is having, either it is an autistic child, or it is a PDD-NO, so that's pervasive developmental disorder, just specific language impairment, or mild ADHD, or whatever it is, or just a delayed milestone which is there. How are you going to make the accommodations in your classroom setup according to your curriculum which is there? So you have to write it down. Okay, it's a written plan of action. It is a tool, and this plan of action which you have written down, okay, it is a tool to help teachers monitor and communicate the students' growth. So once it is written down, you have the plan of action which is there. Like how you are doing, suppose you have your annual day, you actually chalk down. First is welcome the guest, second is invocation. So it is easy for anybody to actually access it. A plan, it is developed, implemented and monitored by personnel working with the child. You have to keep monitoring it regularly which is there. It is a flexible working document that can be adjusted as necessary. So it has to be in so that it's very flexible. Because when you're working with special needs children, temperaments differ. Okay, and there will be that growth spurts which are there. So we should be in check that if the child has achieved this, we have to go on to the next level. You can't keep sticking to the same goal. Okay, so for that we always keep telling observations. You have to be knowing that normative pattern. When the child has picked it up, you have to get on to the next level which is there. So you have to be flexible. The working document which you have put in should be flexible. And it's an accountability tool. You are going to account for each and everything that you write into it. For the student, for his or her parents, and for everyone who has responsibility under the plan for helping the student meet his or her goals and expectations. So whatever you write in it, you have the accountability for it. Okay, so it's an accountability tool. It's an ongoing record that ensures continuity in programming and a document to be used in conjunction with the provincial report card. Apart from the report card which is given, even this can be actually put in. So this is how you worked on it. These are the goals you've worked, the transition into the school, and this is how you've actually got it. So it's like a documented evidence that you have done work and this is how it is progressed. What is the information to be included in an IEP? What do you think can be included in an individualized educational plan? The assessment records, who works with the child, all that. We'll just see how it has to be put in scientifically. Relevant medical and health information. Okay, all the relevant medical and health information which is given. Relevant formal standardized assessment data. Wherever they have gone and got the data, the child assessed, everything in the record form, that's the date. You'll have to see from the date. From the date, suppose it is 2009 the child was first taken, 2009 July, then 2009 September, they've gone, you have to keep recording the dates like that. So you will have that standardized assessment thing. So it gives you that growth chart of that particular child. It's more easier. So all the standardized assessment data. Students' current level of educational achievement in each area. Okay, so the current level of educational achievement. Goals and specific expectations for the student. What do you expect? What does the family expect this child to do? What does the teacher and the school expect the child to do? What are the goals and the specific expectations? Program modifications, changes to the grade level expectations in curriculum. What would you want to modify? Okay, the child is not able to go outside, does not like noise too much. Are you going to modify the rhyme time, the circle time? What exactly are you going to do? How are you going to modify that circle time for this particular child who's either hypersensitive to sound or doesn't like too much of sound which is there? Okay, so if you're going to have a playtime which is there, the child with ADHD, how are you going to modify it? Because you will spend all your energy pulling him back into the group thing which is there. So how are you going to make this curriculum modifications? So your timetable is put, how are you going to put this particular child into this particular program? Accommodations required. Support or services that will help the student access the curriculum and demonstrate learning. So like in some schools you have this resource learning, resource rooms which is there. What time will you send the child to the resource room? What is the child going to study in the resource room? What is studied in the resource room, how am I going to check it in the regular mainstream setup when he is coming into? What are the modifications that we have to make? What time of the day I am going to send him? Suppose a child is actually having some amount of language class or some alphabet learning here. At that time, can I take him and put him into the resource room? Is it going to benefit for him? What are the accommodations I have to actually make? So all this should be considered in the IEP. Speech and language and related services provided to the student. What are the other services the child goes? Sometimes what happens is they go in for some kind of alternative therapy to either some professional center which is there. So in that particular time, is it wise enough to pull out the child during the school time and give him that other service which is there? Is it going to help him? It could be any kind of a service that they are taking in. Assessment strategies for reviewing the student's achievement and progress. Okay. What are the assessments that you're going to do? Is it going to be formal assessments by a professional or the regular school assessments that you do or any kind of informal assessments that is going to be there to just check, okay, whether the child is improving and to just check on the achievement which is there. Regular updates showing dates, results and recommendations. This is the most important. Okay, most often what we see in schools or even when we are in the clinical setup, they forget to put the dates. Dates are the most important thing which is there. Okay, when did you review it? That's the most important. You can't say 2 weeks back. Okay, there's no specificity in that 2 weeks back. 2 weeks back when? Okay, because if you don't put on the date, you tend to forget it. So what happens that day it has to be written. That is the key thing of documentation. So regular updates showing dates, results and recommendations has to be put on that particular paper. It could be paper, it could be a computer, it could be just a notebook which is there. Wherever it is, you will just have to put it in. Transition plan if required. If the child is moving out, for example, there is a transfer happened to the parent. When the child is moving from one to the thing, how would you put the transition plan? So even if you read, I read, mother reads, somebody else reads, everybody understands what is basically happening with the child. It has to be so crystal clear, the words that we put into. This is basically the process which is there. You have to gather the information. This is how you have to get into the IEP of planning. The first part is gather information. The second part is after you gather the information, what are you going to do with the information? You have to set the direction. You have to develop the IEP, implement the IEP and review the IEP. This is an entire process which keeps happening. It goes on happening with each and every child. Yes. Are you done? Yeah. Now what do you gather information? What is the information that you have to gather? Okay. Review the student's record. If the child has come from somewhere else, you will have to review the record. Consult with the student, the parent, school staff and other professionals. You will have to just talk to them. What exactly is being done? Observe the student. The most important is observe the student as teachers. Review the student's current work. Keep reviewing. It could be every week or it could be every 15 days that you're going to review the child's work. Conduct further assessments if necessary. Consolidate and record information. Write it out in detail. Conduct further assessments if necessary. Consolidate and record the information. Set the direction. Establish a collaborative approach, including the student and the parent. It should be a team approach that we should have. All of them should work together in improving that particular child. If you're doing it in school, you should see that the mother does it outside. Okay, what is the other professional doing? You will have to just get the entire team which is there. Establish roles and responsibilities. Who are the professionals involved and the time allocated? Who is working with the child? Is it a psychologist? Is it a speech therapist? Is it an occupational therapist? Is it a physiotherapist? Who is working with that particular child? Does the child go in for special education services? Who is exactly working with that child? What is the responsibility of that individual there? What is he actually doing with the child? what is the next goal which is happening, and the time allotted. Okay, because children can get bored very fast. They don't have so much of capacity. 24 hours of the day, the child cannot run around for therapy. It becomes very tiresome. So how much of time is allotted to everything? Develop the IEP. Once you've got the information and you've set the direction, you have to develop the IEP. Identify and record the student's strength and needs. This is where your observational skills come in. You have to observe students. This is where you will have to have your normative developmental milestones very pakka. It should be very, very strong. You know that this is the normative, this is the delay the child is showing. Okay, so this is a strength, this is a need that we have to work on all the domains of development. Okay. Identify goals and expectations. What is the first goal I have to work with this child? Okay, should I work on sitting? Should I just work on building self-confidence? Should I build on calming? Okay, what is the basic thing that I have to work with this child first? And what are the expectations? What can I expect? Should I expect it immediately within 3 days the results? What is the expectations I have, the parents have? Determine strategies and resources. How am I going to do this? Okay, what is my resources? Do I have the material there? Or with the existing material I'm going to do it? Okay, what are the resources that I have? Do I have the time? Do I have an extra room which is there? Do I have an extra help which I can actually do? What is the strategy I'm going to use? Which is the kind of approach that I'm going to use? Is it going to be visual learning? Is it going to be auditory learning? What exactly am I going to do? Is it going to be playway method that I'm going to teach the child? Theme-based learning? How is it? Okay, so that's basically what we have to look into. Develop a transition plan. So if this is one is achieved, okay, for example, a particular thing is achieved. The child is calmed down, sitting along with the peers, looking at the other thing. What is the next level I have to go to? Okay, how do I transit from one goal to the other goal? The child has learned colors. What is the next thing? Child has learned numbers. What is the next thing? How do I transit from one goal to the other? Establish a monitoring cycle. How do I monitor? Okay, like how you have these in regular schools, unit tests, isn't it? You have a first unit test, then you have a midterm exam, then you have a second unit test, a third unit test, and then you have the final exam. That's a monitoring cycle. So how are you going to monitor the special needs child? Okay, are you going to do it every 15 days? Or you're going to do it after 1 month? Or once in 3 months you're going to do? What is the monitoring cycle that you're going to actually use? That depends upon the severity of the condition the child is in. Implement the IEP. Then you have to start implementing. Once all this is put into thing. When you're developing the IEP, it's like a calendar of events that you're putting into. Okay, like a timetable you're putting for this particular child. Monday, 9 o'clock. For example, school starts at 10. Am I going to give an extra time from 9 to 10 that I work with this individual child? So by 10, when everybody else comes in, you know, he's more or less ready to accept that particular group which he is in. Okay, so 9 to 10, what am I going to do? How long am I going to call him 9 to 10 and then put him onto the 10? So it's like a calendar of events that you're going to actually put into. Implement the IEP. Share the IEP with the students, parents, school staff and other professionals, providing a copy to the parents. Okay, so everybody should be having it. So everybody knows what you're basically working with. Okay. Put the IEP into practice. Start implementing it. You have to take time off and you have to put it in. This is that classroom management. It gets back to that efficacy of classroom management and how do you organize your work as a teacher. Continue to evaluate the students' progress because there would be that spurts of development. That's why we get back to again normative development. Normative milestones have to be so thorough, only then you will know whether there is a delay or whether the child has actually moved on. So continuously evaluate. Adjust the goals, expectations and strategies as necessary. Okay, so during holiday time, okay, in India a lot of holidays come. So Diwali holidays, what are you going to accommodate? So it should be more flexible. Who's going to continue that plan which is there? Okay, now we've broken for Christmas. Who's going to continue? Now for the summer vacation, who's going to continue? Because it's an ongoing process which is there. So this is the, you have to adjust the expectations and strategies as necessary. Review and update the IEP. You have to keep reviewing and updating the IEP. And you have to do it periodically. Periodically, it's like in the beginning when we start off, once every month we actually do it. Once the child is more or less settled, then we do once in 3 months, then once in 6 months as the child progresses. Any kind of a review when you're working with children, only 6 months validity is there for any kind of a report that is given. Why is it? That because we see that in 6 months time the child picks on another skill. So that should always be remembered. After 6 months at least please review the IEP, because sometimes you don't know, you don't get time or you have to leave and go, whatever happens.
You just mentioned in the beginning explaining what IEP about finding out the strength of a special child. Once you find out the strength of a special child, can you mold the child according to that?
You can mold it. You can mold the child. That actually gives you the draper building. The draper building starts off once you know the strength of the child. So this is what you know. So pull out the strength of the child, wrapper building begins, self-confidence, self-esteem, and then everything falls into place. He is more cooperative. Immediately that cooperation comes in. Review and update the IEP at the year end and when the student transfers to another school. At least that is mandatory. If not done periodically, the other option is at the year end at least do the entire thing. File the IEP in the student's record. It should be a document. Okay, anybody who's worked with that student would know that this is what it is. So that the parents don't go through the trial of again, explaining the same thing over and over again. It becomes very tiresome which is there. So this is an example of an IEP that you can actually do. Date of the IEP meeting. Who are the members in the IEP? Who would you include in the individualized education program? Parents. Are the parents going to be there? When are the parents going to make an entry there? Okay. The teacher. Is it going to be the class teacher? Or is it going to be the coordinator? Is it going to be the school principal? Who are the other professionals you're calling inside? Would you want the psychologist there? Would you want the speech therapist also there? Okay. Who would you want to include into the thing? The members have to be present there with their names, designation, everything should be there. Should be a signed record basically. Main goals, for example, if it is attention, okay, the main goal you want on this to work with this particular child is attention. Give a descriptive status of the child. Okay, I have observed the child for 3 weeks in my classroom. This is the kind of thing is there. In the beginning of the day it is like this. Midday the attention goes down. Towards the end of the entire session, this is how it is. A very descriptive status of the entire child. Next level is the assessment. You have to decide who does the assessment. Do you want to do an informal assessment or do you all have protocols, profiling of the children at your own school records, or should it be more diagnostic, formal, standardized? It can be either both. That depends on how the parent and the teacher would want it. On regular IEP meetings, review previous IEPs. Okay, in June the child has joined. You have the first IEP which is there based on the information that is gathered. The next IEP would be in September when you break for the vacation. Okay, so you have to review the first IEP and the second IEP. So it goes on. You have to keep reviewing the IEP, only then you can see the progress which is there. Core competence of an effective teacher is maintained in a document. So once it's all over, you have to get the signature of all the members. Okay, that's the most important thing. You have to get the signature of the parent, the professionals who are present there. Okay, you also have to sign, file a copy into the thing. If you want, you can give out, it depends on the protocol of the school, give it to the parent or whatever it is. Okay, so that documentation is the most important skill which is there. Did you all understand? I think we get into counseling there. Any other thing with an IEP? Yeah.
If you're not able to update or periodically change the IEP, the first time when you make it, you have to be clear of the long-term objectives and the short-term objectives. So at least you have a direction there. So if these are achieved, then with the same IEP, you can keep going on to the next levels. So make a detailed IEP in the beginning itself. If you are able to predict the progress of the child, if you feel that he's going to improve, in 3 months, I know I can do this with him. So for the next 3 months also, there itself, you can make the note. So those, you can divide it into long-term goals and short-term goals also.
Did you understand what an IEP is? Because just the gist of the basic thing. Okay, so this is how we do it for each and every individual child. It remains the same across the ages. Doesn't change. It remains the same across the ages. Even for older children also it remains the same template follows, the same principles of an IEP follow. Only a thing, based on the disorder, you have to keep changing the goals. The goals will keep changing. Any doubts? Because we are getting into counseling now. Counseling. Okay? Counseling is, there's a lot to talk about counseling. Huge amount. There's a huge amount of literature, lot of things which has happened. There's a history behind the entire thing of how the field of counseling started. It becomes too much to actually talk. Okay? So basically counseling involves an interactive relationship. It's more interactive and it's a relationship. Okay? Both of us, we transit through a particular period and then you have a bonding which is happening. It is a collaboration between a therapist and the therapy. It's a set of clinical skills and teaching techniques. So it is basically you have to put both together. It's teaching skills as well as clinical skills. Both together go together. Teaching techniques and clinical skills. It's not giving advice. Giving advice is very boring. Okay? You can actually give advice very clinically also. So that's an art which you have to actually learn. It's positive reinforcement. It's only positive reinforcement. It's an emotional support and a formal record of what basically is happening. This is what basically happens in any counseling setup. Okay, it's a lot of emotional support. In emotional support, the two things which we are looking at, empathy as well as sympathy. Okay, we all feel sad for a lot of things. Feeling with the person is known as empathy. But as a counselee, when you are in the counseling position, you should guard yourself from too much of everything which is there. Okay? You can have the transference and the counter transference happening. You can feel too much for your client or the client can feel too much for you. Both happens. So, putting that line, that Lakshman Rekha there is the entire clinical skill which we call. You can't cross this, I can't cross that. That's the most important thing which is there, working with the parent. Okay? The purpose of counseling, okay, in school is basically goals for an IEP. To set the goal of an IEP. Scheduling of sessions, when do I see the parents next? Frequency and length of therapy, how long is this therapy going to continue? How is the entire IEP process going to be there? Potential involvement of others, when is the others going to come in? When do I want the father in? When do I want the grandparents in? When do I want the significant others in the child's environment? And termination of the entire therapy or the termination of the entire IEP process which is happening. So this is basically what you'll have to know. The basic counseling skills. The first one is active listening, processing, responding, and then teaching. This is how as a teacher you'll have to build in this particular skills. Active listening. Now how do we do active listening? How do you all do active listening? Because there would be hundreds of students inside that entire thing. Okay, so what basically is active listening? It includes attending, paraphrasing, reflection of feelings and summarizing. Okay, so now we'll just have a small little role play to actually start off. Like how you're attending, paraphrasing, okay, reflection of feelings and summarizing. The words, the way we sit, the way we talk, all that makes a lot of difference which is there. Okay, so two people can come in. You should have a small little family with one child which is there. Decide among yourselves who will be the family with a special needs child and who would come out. So we need a teacher. We need a, who's this now? Yeah, come. We need a teacher also because the teacher is going to do the counseling, right?
Yeah.
3 people, no?
One child.
Yeah.
One of you have to act as a child.
Special needs child, yeah. Now who's a teacher? We need a teacher also. Huh. This is a family. Okay. So this is a teacher. Fine. We need chairs. The family can stand with it. The teacher can sit.
You want to be teacher?
I don't know. No, leave. Who wants to be the teacher?
Who wants to be the teacher among this? Okay. One more chair. Just one more chair. You are the mother or the father? Father.
Self-concept is happening there. Who am I?
We'll take it.
So you ready? They'll come in and tell. They will come in and tell. Don't worry.
Accepting or not accepting, we'll see. But you have to break the thing that the child, you are noticing some problems with this one. It's very difficult to handle.
Did you get it? Can we start? Chalo.
First you have to not accept and then you will accept or
It depends. You just start off. It will come. Don't worry.
Yeah, you can. That's a nice idea.
No, I don't sit.
No.
Arvind also, but you sit here. Come, yeah, come. Sit here, Arvind. Come, no problem, come. Come, sit with me, come. No, I will sit here. That chair is not good. It's okay. It's not good. See, stay there. Come and sit here. Come. That is not good. See better.
Very good girl.
No, I will sit.
Okay, come.
Is it good? No, not on handle. That's what I told you. Sit here.
No, it's okay. Okay.
What you want to know about you're a little bit naughty, but very nice. No, I'm not naughty.
She is a little bit, whatever she want to do at last. Whatever we'll tell also, she will mingle everyone, but whatever she want to do, she will do.
How she is in study?
Study-wise is good, but little slow processing.
No, I'm not slow.
You are not slow, beta. According to you, you are good.
I can learn, I'm fast.
Yes, you can. You can learn fast, but compared to.
Learn fast.
Yes, you can learn. You can run fast, but not writing or thing.
No, I can learn. No. I can, ma'am is lying big. No.
We will listen. I'm straight. Then okay. Okay. Very good. Okay.
I know I'm good.
Yes.
Yes, you are very good, beta. Not good. You are very good.
Very good. Okay.
Okay.
How is she regarding the concentration? Because I observed that she lacks in concentration.
No, she is having concentration, but we have to give her a little bit more attention. What way means we have to look after every time to her, and
But what adds to
But you never look at me. I am sitting in the corner only I'm observing you. Otherwise you'll disturb everyone. And the class is over, you go.
What I observed is at home also when I'm teaching her, she seems to be concentrated, but after some time she's not grasping.
But I think she's doing better, good compared to before.
Any behavioral issue?
No, nothing.
Is she adamant at home she's adamant? But no, I'm not adamant. Yes, no, you are not. I will not.
I just wanted to break once, yeah? Yeah. That is it good to talk about the child in front of the child? No, that's the first thing which is there, and I mean, you should have just got a notepad or something and kept it here because they have come in. This is the first IEP meeting, so you've already had the first parent-teacher meeting. Okay, so you already have the information. Gathered information is there.
Gathered information, they are asking me something concentration level. I can't say that she is not good, right? I have to
Yeah, that is why you should be having your records in place here. Okay, beforehand.
We are not.
No, my dear girl, you've not understood it. 1 minute. The child is already finished with the assessments which is done, enrolled in the school, 3 months over, and the first time you're meeting the child. So you already have the records with you. Okay? So based on the records, where's your observation record?
3 months. So you know about the child, everything about the child.
I can say that she's good, right? In all the aspects. Development.
Special needs.
She's a special needs child. Okay? So the language which we are using, okay, the way we actually approach the thing, okay, so there was a lot of confusion of where she wants to sit. Okay, so that's itself you can actually find out that with the parents it's different. So you should have already decided where exactly you could have placed the chair. This is where exactly I want the child to sit. So you're structuring the entire counseling setup beforehand itself to avoid, because you have time frames which is there. She's not the only child. You'll have 20, 30 children whom you'll have to talk to. And it's not easy to actually keep modifying everything together. So the structure of the classroom should be there. And we already have a documented evidence. Before starting any counseling session which is there, small rapport building. Good morning, how are you all, how was the day? Okay, how was it to travel here? It was difficult. Okay, so how is he doing? Then slowly get into the entire thing. That's when you're actually attending. Okay, there will be a lot of things which they are actually questioning you about. What you can do in active listening, attending is making points of it. Okay, so documenting. Okay, so you're just making points of it. Basically what it is. Okay, and then the next thing what we put is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is like, you have told me that he is not actually attending or concentrating in class. Could you explain a little more? Because I would just want to know how it is at home. You know, where do you teach him? And because it could be different that at home, you know, classroom setup is more structured. At home, okay, there could be other noises, other people present in the thing. Just getting an idea of what's the environment. Environmental differences are there. School is very structured. Very structured. And basically when she's actually telling you that the child is not concentrating, she's reflecting a feeling that she's irritated. Okay, what is happening in school, that learning is not taking place outside. Most often the parents get irritated. Why is it that in the therapy center the child is doing, outside the child is not doing? Okay, that's a constant thing that we work with. It's a constant thing that we work with. We forget that the structure is there. A home is something where definitely you're not going to sit like as on the dining table in your home, you're not going to sit like as if you're sitting in a restaurant. It's different. The behaviors are different, which is there. Okay, so she's reflecting the feeling. So you can just words like, yeah, I understand. That's when you use understand that this is the difficulty that you're facing. Oh, it could be really difficult, you know. That's what empathizing. You'll have to start with that empathizing. Did you get it? Now you understood. Can we have a small thing once again? Come again. Don't get too naughty, yeah? You get a notepad.
We are talking about her that she is not doing well. He will not accept some material to she will ask that, no, I'm doing.
So then you will have to tell as a parent, is that, that, can I talk, with her distracted, or is there someone who can take her out?
Keep her engaged in a...
Yes. Yeah.
The teacher should have given some material for the child to
Play with.
So the mother will see to it that the child is working with the material while the teacher is talking to the father. That also can be done.
Yeah. Either you can have a maid also if both the parents want to actually observe their children. Somebody can take her out for playing.
Yeah.
So you can actually have somebody, your assistant teacher or somebody to take her out to play. All the best to that person. Don't be too naughty.
True.
No, I know, you just give us some colors or something. Yeah, you have the whiteboard to scribble.
Whiteboard and marker.
Yeah, blackboard as well.
Yeah, whiteboard is there, the marker. So it will be there.
Actually, are we allowed to speak in front of the child?
No, at any time we should not say in front of
Only positive things in front of the child.
Yeah. Like she lacks concentration, not such words also we are not supposed to
No,
use.
if you want to tell, sometimes what happens is the child is not aware. Situations differ. Okay? Don't directly tell. I find it difficult, to get her to attend to certain things at times. Okay? Sometimes it becomes difficult. You can just put it in different ways, which is there.
They understand. That's what I gave you an example.
So put it differently. Today it was a difficult day. Some days it's very difficult to get her attention. So it depends on how you want to use the things which is there. Because 11 we'll break and then we'll get back.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. How about you?
We're fine, thank you. Did it take you a long time to travel?
No. Usual traffic jam.
Yes, that's it.
It's too long.
Yeah.
How much far from here?
I don't know.
You don't know. So how can you tell that it's too far?
Don't use negative statements.
Good.
Okay?
Parumita, would you like to play with some colors?
No, I want to play on the whiteboard.
Okay.
Okay,
Come.
take.
So, how was the session, ma'am?
Yeah.
How was the session? What you have observed during any development?
No, Parumita is doing quite well, and as we have, as you can see, we have she's performing quite well in coloring and other activities. In fact, she started interacting with the children more, and she's made some friends also. And I'm sure she must be doing fine at home also.
But do you find sometimes she becomes very aggressive or with playing with friends also? She want if particular
Try to stop her from doing something also. She's getting aggressive. Do you find the same thing here also?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel.
But I feel that, when you get her attention away from the thing, she mellows down and she then cools down. It happens, I think, very rarely.
But in a home, I find
You just paraphrase what they have told just now, because there was too much of information which they've given, and you have to actually think what basically it is. So whatever they have said, you have to paraphrase as to how you've understood. This is basically your problem, which is that this is how I understood it. Be loud, you can't it's on?
on.
It's on. Be loud, because
tell about the problem also.
She's not hearing you. She's in another room.
See, all the parents can tell anything what you want.
While playing with the friends, if we say no, or if her friend said no, I want this, she becomes aggressive, she beat or something, push or pull the friends. Do you observe in the class?
Ma'am, as I can understand, you find her that she's finding it difficult, and she gets angry and she reacts with other children. If she's not given something, then she's fighting with them.
In home, and generally in home I observe that if we are not giving full attention to her, she is not happy with that, and always she tried to, mama, for everything she called everyone to look at me. She want every time someone should look at her. Attention.
Yeah, and one more thing is, whatever the play she is into, or whenever she is writing something, she wants us to be with her, and actually she is not attentive individually. For each and every activity, she wants us to be with her.
Ma'am, being an only child, she's also lonely, and she probably is seeking attention.
In classroom, she's having so many friends together, and will give some attention, like, see, now she's going on alone, she's writing everything, she's playing almost. Like that only we can engage her.
Okay.
Actually, we are saying the problems, but they are satisfying us. That she is not doing same, there is no problem, and we are saying that we face the problems and they are satisfied. No, there is no problem. She is actually
trying to tell us that there is no problem in the school, but they forgot that reflection of feelings. Okay, so I understand that at home you are still having difficulties, which is there. Okay, it could be probably because she could be alone. Okay, there is nobody to actually give time to her, and then you can get into the exact thing. Okay, how much of time do you give? This is the time when you assess the family status. Okay, so this one the family has to come in. So long it was the professional and the teacher working. Okay, and they have come with the hope that most of it is like this. They have come with the hope that the school is going to make a miracle happen there. Okay, and then we'll have to include the parents. The role of the parents comes in here. Okay, so then you can take in more details. Okay, what does she do the entire day? Where are you working? Who spends time with her? How is the day? How is Paramita's one? A day. A day in her life, how is it usually? Who gives time to her? What is the best time that she learns? When do you get time? Most often is whenever I get time, I work with the child. That's what most of the mothers say. Okay, but that routine has to be established. So you're putting a system into place. Okay, and that has to be noted down.
Everything is in routine. Because
Sit, Bona. Yes.
How old is the child be?
The child can be any age, no problem. Right now, how old do you want to be?
6
writing. 6 years.
6 years old. She is different. Very, very bad. Mummy, very bad. Mummy, very bad. That is mummy. You didn't give chocolate to her today. Mummy is little bit strict. She is not giving chocolates. Is it possible for you to correct this child? Child won't be like this much attitude. Ma'am, isn't it a free sign? You are very, very good. Ma'am, we should do a little bit sign when a child, like, okay, let's take a 6-year-old child who's drawing a smiley and is actually drawing alphabets the other way around. So don't you think she already knows the concepts of alphabets? Isn't it a good sign?
It is a good sign. It is a good sign. It is a good sign, but again you'll have to go down to the thing that what was the diagnosis? Okay? What was the diagnosis that that made her differently abled? Why is she called a special child? Okay, from what she is, from a severe to this level, it's wonderful that she's come up. But one thing you can see, she's reflecting a lot of feelings. Okay, so that nobody has understood her basically. Lot of feelings she's basically putting into the place which is there.
So that means she must have got a lot of
Negative vibes which were there.
from the home.
Yeah, so we just take on. Okay, so she's doing pretty well here. Okay, based on assessment results, I know slow transition which is there. 3 months is, she's moved on. Okay, but we'll have to still work together with her. You were just telling me that at home you find it a little difficult to manage her.
Yeah.
Okay, have I got it right? That's basically what it is. Okay, so in, to just start off with, we would just like to have an idea of how is her day generally. A normal routine day of hers, every day, it's morning to
evening. What is her daily life like?
Okay. A morning she wake up and get ready and come for the school. After coming from the school, she don't want to eat, she don't want to change the cloth, she want to play, don't want to hand wash also. And sometime he play and she play, and then I have to force her to do the change the clothes and eat. After the eating, when I say do some writing or anything, play with that. No, she want to see the TV. So then she watch the cartoons, Chota Bheem and Doraemon. Okay, we will after going in the home. Okay,
No, now TV.
Now you have you have me. Okay. It means to convey her, I have to take a lots of effort to convince her.
basically her.
Basically, correct.
So you told me that she gets up in the morning and then she comes to school. What time of the day is it? What time does she get up? Because
Generally, bus comes on 8 o'clock. She wakes up at 7 o'clock.
okay, so there's 1 hour time.
1 hour time.
Okay, and then it's like you have to be behind her to finish her work or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have to.
By herself.
No, I have to force her. She don't want to brush in the morning. She want to start up
Playing
playing,
the
and
thing.
she is doing just time pass. She will run here and there. I don't want to drink milk. I don't want to take a bath. And today is a holiday.
And what time generally does she sleep?
She sleeps at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, and you have to wake her up or she gets up by herself?
No, I have to wake
You
up.
have to wake her up. Okay. And then you have to coax her into getting into
Yes.
school and
Yes.
coming in and all that.
It means I have a very difficult task
Time
in the morning.
in the morning, yeah,
When
I
she
understand.
go to the school bus on time, then I take a relief that today she went.
So that's the time you relax when
Yes.
she's in school.
Yes.
Okay. When she gets back, she uses the school bus to get back?
Yes.
She uses the school bus to get back.
Yes.
And then again it's the same running
Same
around behind her which is there.
Correct.
Okay. And how much does her father pitch in? How much does her father help out with
Yes.
Spend time with her in a day, like
In a day.
or evening. When
In the morning, her father is help to get her ready. Some task I do, some task he did, and he will comes around 8 o'clock in the night. Then he play with him little 1 or 2 hours. She generally sleep at 10 o'clock. So 2 hours.
have dinner together.
Yes, dinner together. But we finish our dinner early, but she takes near about 1.5 hours to
finish eating? So she runs
Yes.
around and eats or
Yes.
sits down and eats?
She don't want to eat. We have to feed her and force her. And we have to make engage, then we will see this one or tell her some story like this.
Okay.
She has to watch something or hear something.
We have to
Great.
keep her busy.
Only then she will open her mouth.
Yes.
And
She sits and time or you have to run behind.
First he runs, but now for listening the story, she will sit.
she will sit down and she will eat. And before actually giving dinner, okay, what does she have? 1 hour or 2 hours before that in the evening? Is she always eating something or is it straight away dinner? Or there's lots to munch and then dinner is given?
No, usually 5 to 6 o'clock she had milk and biscuit, and
whatever she likes. Like if she wishes for a fruit, we'll give her a fruit. Or if she wishes for an egg, the choice is her. We'll give a list of these things, fruits or biscuits.
So this is usually around 6:37?
No, between 5:30 and 6.
By 5:30 to 6. And dinner time is around 8? 8 to 9? 8 to 9, okay.
Actually, after my coming from the office, I'll engage her with some board games like that. And or I'll sit with her and ask what has happened in the school, or what all the time she has spent with her mother and how she spent with her mother.
Does she tell all that to you? Or?
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes she becomes very aggressive and shouts like, Mama didn't give me this today, all
When
these
she's
things.
angry, what does she actually do?
She'll just shout. Like she shows her feeling like she doesn't want to speak. Like she's not interested to speak.
But
No,
she
I
does
don't.
not, hit you or throw you
No,
or
no,
anything?
no, no, no.
Nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. Like snatching from hands, or I don't speak to mama. Like that she'll say. But after it's a very short span, she behaves like that. But very immediately she'll become normal.
To become normal, you have to give her something?
No, nothing like that. I'll just pacify her like this is not good for you, so only mama didn't give you like this.
Then she acts.
Yeah, then she accepts. That will be there for half
Yeah,
hour.
so I think basically she, you give her reason and she will be able to suggest the thing. So I was just thinking about how she is basically doing in school. She is moving on, okay, based on the reports which was given. And is she attending therapy, and is she continuing with all the therapies outside?
Is she going for
Therapy outside? You'll have stopped completely, stopped everything. So you're focusing more on her school, and school is going to improve the entire thing.
Then actually, one more thing what we have observed from her is she's a very friendly natured girl actually. She loves to mingle with friends, and at home also she loves to play with the society people, kids and all. But when they say no, or when they are not to her point, she comes home back. Like, no, they are not making me join the game. Like, so I came back. She didn't come to me when I called her, so I don't play with her.
So I think she cannot take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah? So there could be a lot of no's happening all around. No, don't do this, don't do that. It could be this no's all around the place which is there. Okay? So we can just get into the thing of how we worked with her. Okay, and this is basically the plan we had put down for her based on the assessment, and then you can just go on. Okay, so this is day 1. This is how we schedule a session for her. Okay, so Monday she comes in, and this is the general timetable which we have for the regular schooling, and this is how we've adapted this basically for her, so that she can, transit slowly. We're not looking at something happening very fast, something very slowly. 9 to 10, this is what we work on. Okay, so this particular activity is going to enhance this particular skill in her. So you'll have to actually basically specify. Then you get what exactly that activity is. Okay, whether it is attention or whatever it is. So this is what we do here. Okay, so you could just try this out at home, or in small cousins, or when you'll gather into family functions, to see whether this learning is being taken out in another situations which is there. So like this, the entire timetable has to be broken down with the parent. Yeah, beforehand. It should always be done beforehand. The file should be actually open in front of the parent. So the parent knows that, you have actually done some work which is there. What we do in a clinical setup is we have graphs. We have profiles of children drawn. And we different skills which is there. And we tell them this is the graph in which it's gone. Okay, he was here when he first came in, baseline. This is where he is. Okay, presently, but this is his age. So there's a particular gap which we'll have to fill in which is there.
Actually, at home also, do we need to maintain any record like after getting...
Yeah, once we finish with all these kind of things, then you have to transit. The transition learning has to take place, right? So you can try this out at home, because here he is doing it around 80 to 90% of the time without monitoring. So we want to say that learning takes place. You can try this out. And you should have a written document there. Another sheet of paper should be written what you want the parents to do. Okay, that's already put into your file here. You give it to the parent and get it signed. That means I have given the activity to you. You have to do it and give it back to me. Okay, otherwise it doesn't work out. We won't know what they're doing. So that's documentation.
And what from the parental input, you might have to modify in your IEP a few things. That after the meeting
You can just put it down inside there.
the points there itself. Because there are something which you couldn't have observed in a school. So that comes through the parents. And what will be the observation time for the parents if you are doing giving the list of what we have to do? So how much?
You can keep around 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks would be fine. Okay, 3 weeks basically it takes to modify the entire thing which is there and set the routine in that family which is there. From 3 weeks you can get back and then you will actually know how is it working, how is it not working. So that's how you will have to keep going. The child is engaged. Don't assess the child on that particular day which is there unless and until you see something very different. Okay, something which is actually very different and it shows out. Okay, so only then can you look at the particular child. What is this? Papa no homer. I know. What is this? I know C, okay.
She didn't see her papa.
Okay. Okay, so this is basically what you do in the thing, and then the end part of it is known as summarizing. Okay, so just a gist of basically what it is. Okay, so you can put it in the framework. So finally, in the end, it is wonderful working with with ABC child which is there, and this is how we work together. So today's meeting, we basically reviewed how we had progressed on the thing, and these were your concerns which you had put in, and we will definitely look into it. Okay, and these are the activities that you could do it at home, and please get back to us by 3 weeks. So, and then terminate the thing. Have a nice day, and usually the pleasantries which are there.
If there is no development observed in those 3 weeks,
Get back. You have to get back. That's when you have to keep monitoring.
Teachers are supposed to tell the teachers that no development is observed, we need still more time.
That's when you'll have to actually get in for a professional assessment, because the child over here is not going for any other therapy. Okay, sometimes he would require some professional help there. Okay, so the parent is doing it there. You must be monitoring with the professional, but the parent is not monitoring with the professional. Did you understand? The teacher is monitoring with the professional, but the parents are not attending therapy. Okay, so they are not getting any professional tips or what. Okay, so whatever the teacher...
The teacher is in turn contacting with the
professional.
Yes, but the
Parent is not, in this particular thing, the parent is not. Okay, so usually when the professional is there, all of us sit together. When there is a parent-teacher meeting, we go to that particular school. In the school that we have integrated children, I go and sit there when the parent-teacher meeting is there. I go 1 week before to monitor and observe what the teachers have done, whether it is right, whether it is wrong. Okay, and how the children have progressed before they put it down into the document which is there. Okay, so it depends on the school thing which is there and the parent. So because we keep in touch which is there. So this is what I have observed here, this is what we have observed there. And even during the parent meeting which is there, nothing to be told to the child, only the observations of the child to be noted there. This is what I have noted in this particular thing. This is the environment which the child is there. This is what the child is hooked on to. This is a particular material which is the most irritating to the child. Okay, or the most distracting to the child. Okay, so all those are the things that we have to just note down. Work on the thing, yeah. Definitely. Yes, after 3 weeks we should immediately ask them.
Even response sheets and all, you have to get it to see whether they've actually worked through it. And still if there is no progress, that's when you'll have to go to some other.
See, what happens is sometimes when you give the activity sheet, on the paper it looks nice. But when you're executing it, you will find difficulties. So you will have to actually tell them, these activities are given to you. Try it out for 1 week which is there. Okay, if you find it difficult in any particular activity which is there in understanding, please get back to me at the earliest. Okay, so you're giving them room, come back. If you've not understood, come back. And then again, once the next IEP is scheduled. So after 3 weeks, you've put a date. I would like to see you on this particular date at this particular time. You've already set your plan which is there. So you have to get back at that particular date, that particular time. Once a date and the time is fixed, you come back and again this review happens here. And again the change which is happening here. Did you get the point? Okay, so this is how it actually goes on.
After this 3 weeks of period, if there is no development, the parents in turn speak with the professionals.
We'll have to then discuss together in the team of professionals which is there.
But many times child is, it means special things are observed in the school, not in a home.
Yeah.
And that time the parents are not ready to.
But we started off the other way around, no? At home you're finding it difficult and in school.
No, now we discuss that point, so I'm asking.
Yeah, sometimes what happens in school it is there and at home the child is actually very good which is there. Okay?
What is the factor that is causing that thing in the
In the school. Okay, so we'll have to check what is happening in the school. So once I'll have told that it's basically a checking which is there. But anywhere ultimately the child is learning, that's okay. Okay, wherever the child is learning, whether school or home, as long as the child is learning, it's fine. But only thing he's finding it difficult, generalizing in all situations. Taking that learning to all the situations is difficult. Okay, that's all what is found in the thing.
And what type of activities?
No, that will be the child's present level which is there and the age which is there and the goal which you have to work on.
type of problem that the child has? Everything,
Yes, definitely. It will definitely differ. Even gender-wise also it will differ.
What type of kids will get, ma'am? Actually, we haven't seen any special kids till now.
Okay, that's an...
So, what type we can expect?
Yes, because it depends on the mood also. If we observe that many times the kid is doing very well, but sometimes a particular situation comes, then behavior changes.
Behavior changes.
This kind of observation the teacher has to make.
Depending on
Yeah.
Depending on that.
And if the parents are not ready to accept the teacher portrait.
See, no, when you have it in written document, everybody will accept it. Okay, that's why we have... Ma'am?
That is also by you only. That
No, see, this is the point when, in the beginning, when you put the child into school itself, it should be very clear. The rules and regulations should be very clear. When that vagueness is there only, you will have a lot of doubt. When it's very crystal clear, this is how we are going to work with the child. This is the entire thing which is there. They know that you are doing your work. So they know it very well. Yes, ma'am.
really you are observing the child about our education or
Both. Everything mixed together. All domains of development comes in. Don't split the child. The child is a whole. The child comes to you as a whole. All the domains are working together in the child.
because we are working at IEP, individual education.
Yes. In an individualized educational plan, observations of physical domain, cognitive domain, social emotion and communication should come into. Everything. Everything has to come in. That's when your observational skills have to be so good. Why is the child doing this? Why is it the thing doing it?
if the problem is very good in study, it means whatever you are.
Academic material is very good. So structured material is very good. Social play is very unstructured. Okay. So that time unstructured he is finding it difficult. Okay. So you will have to actually look into those kind of things which are there. You will get a fair idea of how it goes. Okay. So that
What type of what to say that
activities.
activities and one more that as a teacher I should observe these things in her. So what will be the points that including
See, you get various checklists also. I think some of the Montessori's use a lot of checklists which is there. Your own school checklists which are there on what you will rate the child on. Achieved, emerging, those kind of things. No, that is enough. That is more than enough. Nothing special which is there.
But
The checklist would be.
done with proper observation and meaning.
He's a child listening because the child will become the teacher in the end.
They may not see the big can show the parents.
Yeah, you can show the parents is what they're doing.
Whom they are writing nicely, whom they are not writing.
See, at home what happens is it could be that a very structured thing which is there. The mother might be holding the hand and writing. So you'll have to check for all that very nicely. Not very directly, you can't ask them, are you holding the hand? It could be that continuous attention, distraction, the other child is writing, friends, they'll be more interested in the others. Okay, as long as he's getting the concept, slowly he will start picking up.
We can show all those things
Yeah, you can show it to the parent, no problem.
Sometimes the parents won't accept that. Why? Because the child is so good at home and they doesn't expect such kind of reaction from the teacher.
See, because social development, you'll have to get into that social emotional thing. That confidence level would be poor. At home, he's the king and the queen. Outside, there are other children. He has to manage that space and flexibility. Okay? So you'll have to just tell the parent that give him the child time. Okay? Give the child time which is there. At home, he's the only child. So all the attention is given there. Here, we have to divide the attention. So they have to learn to accept in the end of the day. You have to just do your duty. You have to just convey the message to the parents. Okay, that attention is divided here. Okay, so you'll have to just tell them that. Attention is divided.
Only parents going to principal and complaining to the teacher also that the child is so good at home and we are getting complaints from the teacher.
And that's because of that undivided attention itself. Because most of them come from single parents. Single homes or single parents. Single child, only single parents must be bringing them up also. So they have nobody else. There's no that female thing, to child alone. So that has to be divided here. That's basic common sense. So you don't have to feel guilty for it.
What will be the role of the teacher to let the parents know?
So you'll have to just convey that. Just let the parents know.
Yeah, that's all.
Just let the parents know. That's all. This could be the reason. This is what I have understood about. Okay, try taking the child out for more social gatherings and involve the child in a lot of social activities which is there. So he understands how to mingle and
Play with
other children.
Take turns playing.
Yeah, outside. Give them more strategies.
Because they are only looking at that academic point of view. You have to tell them all the other domains also.
No, I am the teacher. I have to give the activity. So with the help of the professional, I make the activity.
Yes, everything is pre-planned. Everything is pre-planned.
I have to share with the professional and then making the activities.
Making the activities. Everything is pre-planned.
Teacher's job. It is not only the
teacher's job.
It should be in collaboration.
Everything is pre-planned and only then it's on that day. So you are very clear of what you want to tell. So you know that efficiency immediately speaks. You start doing it and then you know what you're doing. Okay?
Yeah. And if lots of information, if teacher having about the kid, then parents also feel that no, they have.
Yeah, I mean that's when the professional will tell you how much to tell and how much not to tell.
Yes.
Okay, that's your long-term goal and your short-term goal will come out there. How much you tell and how much you don't tell. Your goals will actually tell you what has to be told. Okay? My God, what a wonderful child.
Thank you for the call.
Did you listen?
Did you listen to what all we are?
Yeah.
Your spelling name is correct. Because I know my
Very, 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 very good. Special?
children you are doing. What way we can differ?
They can be children with hearing impairment. They can be children with delayed language. They can be with...
Where do you stay, ma? Where do you... Whitefield. If you could take off some time or the other and come in on a Saturday, you have to see the children to understand. Seeing will actually get you feel that what this is.
Normal day-to life with same like others.
Everything is the same. Everything is the same.
Learning thing is
Different.
No, we can't.
We can't say learning disability. You will have to actually see these children to actually understand. Okay, you will have to have a feel of what these children are.
Any Saturday just come. We have lot of...
We just take a break and we get back quickly. Within 15 minutes, get back.
How does a child eating habit affect the behavior?
Empty stomach. If a child is an empty stomach, the brain becomes, a devil's workshop. That's basically what it is. Okay? So, eating is an energy-giving food which is there. Okay? And that energy is required for neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters, you have chemicals in your nervous system which actually takes it all around. So, it's the food which gives it energy which is there. Okay? So, that eating, you have to eat on time for the body to build up that energy and the brain to get its food and the neurotransmitters to do its work. Okay?
What I mean to say is, there is a child whose eating habits are like really bad. Okay. Takes noodles and goes round, doesn't sit properly, throws around every problem, behavior problem.
If he is having that kind of a thing, it will be there in many other activities also, not only
In food. Not in food.
He will definitely have in other areas also.
Mashed kind of a food. Yeah.
Indications of
Some form of disability. Some form of mild disability which is there. Yeah.
one thing could be just faulty parenting also. They've been trained like that all through, which can be retrained or whatever. Other thing, it could be some physical problem by itself, because whatever muscles are used for eating are used for speaking also. So they will have some kind of speech problem also, or it could be some medical condition. Could be anything.
In my society, one is there. I think nowadays her mother started after 2 years feeding, like rice and everything she is giving.
Mashed.
Grinding and then
Giving.
and he is eating only carrot and rice
Mixed together.
mixed together.
So the child is not at fault, the mother is at fault.
Mother needs some time.
So you,
What she can do for
she'll have to start introducing. Instead of giving completely mashed food, let her mash it with a spoon and give. Okay?
he's not eating his vomiting.
Yeah, because that gag, because he's not used to it.
Used to the texture. You have
By 2 years, your brain gets used to certain things, no?
to slowly now introduce temperature and texture variations in the food and start.
Then what she can do?
She'll have to start. She'll have to reintroduce the entire thing now.
How we do it for the 6-8 months old baby, we have to start it.
I want only oil color.
He's got used to that carrot food which is there. Now she's reinforced it, now she has to find a way to remove it out. Irritated.
So they should teach him the word for that. Consistently.
See, at 9 years old, I think the child has to actually go pick up something and eat by himself. These are kind of family dynamics which is there. Everything can't be treated. There's a family dynamics. This is how we live. This is the how the entire family system is. Okay? So that's a family dynamics which is there. The family has to intervene there. 5-6 years, more or less, they should be independent. First standard, nobody is going to sit and feed them. Isn't it? Nobody is going to feed them. You'll have empty tiffin boxes and they're coming back. Yeah. See, basically when you're actually starting with the IEP, this gives you a feeling. How do the parents view the child? Do the parents view the child as a human being? Okay? As a human being which has to be evolved, which has to be, having a life, just an object to be taken care of. Okay? Just do your duty, finish it and come up. Lot of parents do that. Feed him, we put him there, finish it. They just finish it. They feel that children don't have feelings. Children don't have feelings, children don't have words, expressions, emotions, choices. How can he make a choice? Why can't he make a choice? Okay, he is going to wear where he wants, what he wants to wear. Why can't he choose where he wants to pick it up? He wants this, let him have it. Okay, it depends upon this. You have to look into security reasons and a lot of other reasons. That's common sense, that's just simple parenting. Okay. So many of the parents don't do that. They treat them as objects, okay, like some kind of a missionary. Put them into the school, get out doctors and engineers and things like that. Okay, whether they have a life or not, that's not a thing. It's like a production. Schools are viewed as production houses now. This is what you put the child in the school, this is going to be the product in the end. Okay, so that's why we have a lot of disintegrative families in the end, because you are not able to maintain relationships. Because when you don't look into the emotional part of it, relationships don't maintain. There's a breakdown of maintenance of families which is there. You have to actually have that value development. That's completely gone in most of the schools.
What age?
Age. It's pretty late. So you'll have to actually go in for professional help to find out. See, sometimes what are the color blindness is there. Even children who are not writing, and they start off from the margin is there, and they always start off a little bit, 2-3 finger spaces which is there. Immediately you know that accommodation is not happening. The eye vision would be completely different which is there.
Right hemisphere problem.
No, you can actually make out because children don't lie. They'd never lie. Okay? No matter whatever it is, they actually put their head down like this and they keep writing. I'm telling you this because my son had this problem. Okay? Right from nursery, I could see that he used to not start from the margin. I just don't know why he is not starting from the margin. And whenever we give him writing, when books, picture books which is there, it took me around 2 days to observe and it's not going from the margin. And I said there's something wrong with him. 4 years I took him to an ophthalmologist and then he has that eye thing, refraction thing which is there. Both the eyes, there are 2 different visual things which is there. And it's apparently genetic. And then we got to know that even his cousins also had the same problem. But they were identified at when they were in 6th standard. So they were beaten up for not writing properly. Did you understand? So there was a huge difference. Today he's fine. Today he can start from the margin which is there. The earlier you intervene, the better it is. So we have to be looking out for a lot of things rather than blaming the child. Before blaming the child that is a behavior problem, rule out the medical issues. Rule out physiological issues which is there. Because we don't know whether it's a physiological issue, you have to go to a professional who's trained only in that. You have to go. We have to go in for a thing. You observe for 2-3 days which is there and then just go in for it. You'll have some children who are, right now I'm working with a child. The minute you give her paper, pencil, task, even simple beading, her eyes just start watering. And you get so scared with her. Finally, we send her to a doctor. We said, please, it's not working. This is not the right thing which happens to children. You please take it to a doctor. She actually has a problem. She has a cyst growing somewhere in between her eyes. So that pressure, the water is coming out. Now she's on massage which is there for 1 month. Next month she'll be going in for surgery. Okay? And in the school she was simply beaten up that she cannot write. You can see that water in the eyes is like pouring, and when we see her, our eyes start watering. She's a 6-year-old girl. Our eyes start watering. You can feel that the eyeballs actually converge like that. That's not a right thing which happens when you're writing. Okay? So there could be any kind of a medical issue. The minute you find it out, lot of different ways. Clear it out medically. It's always better that you clear it out medically. Get me a report that the child is medically fit. That is the most important thing which you have to take in. That's why even before you join a job also, they'll ask for medical fitness, right? So even children also, you can have review medical things which is there. Okay? We take a break and we get back.